Hello, my name is Detective Sergeant Todd Battershell of the Fort Wayne Police Department. I supervise a group of detectives that investigate crimes of sexual assault, among other things. I have been asked as part of the Sexual Assault Awareness Month to talk to you about the types of officers that you may encounter and also the processes that are involved. There are typically two types of officers that you will encounter. The first is the patrol officer. The patrol officer is the police officer who will respond to the scene or your house, or sometimes it's a friend or relative's house, and even sometimes it's the Sexual Assault Treatment Center. There they will take a police report, gleaning the basic information so as not to re-traumatize the victim. That report will then be sent up to the Investigative Support Division. The second type of officer you may encounter is the detective. And this is the person who is going to investigate the case in its entirety. This is the person who will take the report and interview witnesses, collect evidence, interview the suspect, those types of things, prior to sending over the compiled case to the Allen County Prosecutor's Office. So the process is somewhat different. There are two types of scenarios that we generally encounter. The first is what we call a non-acute. A non-acute is a sexual assault that occurred and it is now outside of the 120-hour window in which we can collect evidence. So it happened over 120 hours ago. The officer will go out to the scene. Again, they'll make contact with the victim, take the basic information, and they will send it up. Once it's sent up, myself or Detective Sergeant Hopper will review the case, assign a detective. That detective will then make contact with the victim, schedule a formal recorded interview so that they do not have to tell their story more than once. The reason behind that is so that we do not re-traumatize the victim. The detective will also collect evidence, whether that's clothing, bed sheets, or what have you. They'll collect the evidence, they'll interview witnesses, and they will try to interview the suspect if he or she allows it. That is a non-acute. Once that information's ready, then they will send it over to the prosecutor's office and request formal charges. The prosecuting attorney's office has a final say in whether or not charges are filed. The second type of sexual assault that we encounter is what's called an acute. So this is within the 120-hour window in which we can collect evidence at the Sexual Assault Treatment Center. If the sexual assault did in fact occur within the 120 hours, the patrol officer on scene will notify myself or the other on-duty sergeants on each of the respective shifts, and they in turn will contact the Sexual Assault Treatment Center and the victim's advocates. If it involves a juvenile, we will also bring on the Dr. Bill Lewis Center for Children, and the interview will be done at the Dr. Bill Lewis Center for Children for that child. Once the sexual assault victim goes to the Sexual Assault Treatment Center, they will be met by a detective, a victim advocate, and a nurse who will all participate in the interview process, again, so that the victim does not have to undergo further traumatization by telling what happened to them. Once the interview is complete and the nurse has gathered the information that she needs for her chart, she will ask the victim to participate in evidence collection. The evidence collection process will not be witnessed by anyone outside of the nurse and the victim. So in other words, the detective and the victim advocate will not be present for that part of the process. Once once the evidence collection is finished, the Sexual Assault Treatment Center will maintain continuity of the kit until such time as a crime scene technician can pick up the kit and bring it back to the Fort Wayne Police Department for storage. The detective then will attempt to interview witnesses, collect any other evidence that may exist, and also attempt to interview the suspect. If it is a known suspect, we will get his or her DNA standards, and once that is complete, we will send those standards from the suspect or suspects in with the Sexual Assault Treatment Center kit to the Indiana State Police Lab. The detective will continue through the course of their investigation and compile everything to send over to the prosecuting attorney's office. Again, they will have final say whether charges are filed or not. I hope this gives you a better understanding of the officers that you may encounter and also the processes that are involved with investigating a sexual assault case. Thank you.